Hi, my name is Aaron, this is my show Reeducation, and today I'm going to talk about body positivity, something that is a very contentious issue. And it's going to be difficult for me to talk about this because there are so many different people out there with so many different views on it that it's inevitable that I'm going to get a few things wrong. So when I do, please feel free to leave a comment in the comment section below and hopefully we can come to some sort of conclusion. But until that point, hopefully I can touch on a few things and shed a little bit of light onto my position when it comes to body positivity. If you want a great analysis of body positivity and fat shaming, please check out my friend Amelia Jane's latest video, and it will open your eyes to the way that basically socialists and anarchists and people of the left think about neoliberalism and body positivity. That being said, let's get started. So, conservatives, they see body positivity in a completely different way than liberals do, who see things in a completely different way than leftists and progressives do. So we're going to go through them right now. So conservatives, they think that basically people on the left just want a pride movement for every minority. You want to have gay pride, you want to have black pride, you want to have fat pride. What are you people thinking? That's too many. You don't need to be proud. You don't have to be proud about every little thing. Being white is enough. They think it's unhealthy, that you should take responsibility for your actions, that you should work harder, and you are certainly not beautiful at any size. At least that's the broad scope of how a lot of conservatives see body positivity. So how do liberals see body positivity? Well, liberals, being that they are basically establishment tools, they see it as, how will this demographic vote my way? How can I make money off of this? And if they finally get to it, way down the list, they think to themselves, well, it also feels good to help my lessers. So long as it doesn't infringe on me being able to make money, because that is the most important thing when it comes to liberalism. So before I get to how leftists and progressives think about this, let me go through a few explanations on what exactly it means to even be healthy. I mean, what does that mean? What is health? Well, there are many definitions for health, one of them being staying healthy and living a healthy life. What? So basically, the definition of health is being healthy? Well, that's not helpful at all. A better definition would be free from illness or injury. But that's pretty broad. I mean, really, you have no way of determining if somebody is healthy if they have one or two minor illnesses or injuries, or maybe even major injuries. They could be somebody that is physically fit, works out every day, eats very healthy, has no injuries, but also has cancer. Is that person healthy or are they unhealthy? What about a linebacker who has to be like 250, 300 pounds just so they can do their job? Are they healthy? Well, they clearly get a lot of exercise and they obviously have to eat a specific diet to maintain their weight, but what do you think about that? How do we determine that they could be healthy? Or what if you have a hereditary disease, or your genes just don't allow you to be a size 0 or a size 1, and you live a healthy lifestyle as far as the media is concerned? What about those people? Are they unhealthy because they were born that way? I'm not really sure that we can actually nail down what it means to be healthy. The idea of being healthy, from what I understand it, is very similar to the idea of being smart. Being smart isn't necessarily the goal, it's the journey. You're trying to become smarter. You're trying to learn things in certain fields to gain knowledge. Being smart for an astrophysicist might not be the same as being smart for a doctor or a poet. You have to gain those smarts in an individual way, and any way that you look at being smart is going to be 100% tuned to you. Just like being healthy. Being healthy is something that is going to radically change and be radically different depending on your genetics, your diet, your lifestyle, the amount of time you have during the day to do certain things. All of these factors are going to play into how healthy you are. And really, you can't even necessarily rely on doctors for this sort of thing. The healthcare industry is an industry, and they use a lexicon that is so complicated, so insular, so specific to their general trade that you barely understand what they're saying all the time. A ruptured phalange is a cut on your finger, for example. A subdermal hematoma is your brain bleeding. I'm not a doctor, so I might be getting those terms wrong as well. The problem is that if you want to know if you're healthy, the last person that you should ever ask is the one you're handing the money to give you that healthcare service. They're always going to say you're not healthy. They're always going to try to make money off of you. And that makes the healthcare industry probably one of the most predatory industries out there known to man. They call it a bill of health because it has a price tag. And that doesn't mean that we shouldn't rely on the medical industry. That doesn't mean that medical science isn't amazing. I'm not going to sit here and say that somebody doing brain surgery is some sort of charlatan. Of course, they're going to do something to save your life. But while you're getting that brain surgery, do you have the knowledge on if you need this certain type of anesthetic or if you should have opted for the bargain brand? Is that a decision that you should be making under duress? Under a condition where you are severely disadvantaged by your education? Do you know if you need an MRI or possibly just an ultrasound? You don't. You have to rely on a medical professional for that. And that medical professional also happens to be a salesperson. And that's why this is such a problem. That's why learning if you are healthy or understanding health in general is such a contentious issue. Because you can't even go to the people that you rely on to determine health because they're there to make a profit. And they don't exist in a bubble either. The culturally acceptable idea of health is going to be something that influences the doctor's decision as well. Right now, health isn't determined by your doctor or even you, for example. Health is determined by our culture, by our media. It has nothing to do with actually being healthy. Sometimes people can just buy Lululemon pants and eat vegan and they can be considered healthy, even though starving themselves is making them less healthy. It doesn't matter what size you are, you can be healthy. It just depends on you. You have to tailor those decisions to you personally. And going and asking someone such a general question as, am I healthy, isn't going to help anything. A better way, but definitely not a definitive one, to determine if you are healthy is to look at people within your age range or within your same socioeconomic status or within your same weight class and see if you have the same amount or less ailments, injuries, or illnesses. That way you can kind of get a broad picture on if you're doing okay, but that really doesn't mean much, especially when people that are within your same socioeconomic status might not be able to obtain the healthiest of foods or the best quality of goods, just simply because they don't have the time or the money. Body positivity is a frustrating argument to make a definitive case about because even though you want to be positive about people's size, and even though you want to express that you can be healthy at any weight, you also have to deal with the societal structure that is around you. You, just like the healthcare industry, don't exist inside of a vacuum. There is going to be propaganda telling you what is healthy and what isn't. There are factors in place that make you buy things to make you think that you are being healthy. And if you want to go down the route of body positivity, healthy at any size, well, capitalism has a way of marketing that to you as well. And then you have people like Tess Holliday, who some people look up to as being a role model, being used to sell things like magazines. This is just co-opting, recuperating body positivity to make them gain more of your money. It should be clear by now that demonizing and bullying people because of their weight absolutely does not help one bit. It in fact makes things far, far worse. It forces people to be in a situation where they already feel shitty about themselves, and they realize that people think that they should feel shitty about themselves because they're not trying hard, and it's making them fall into a depression spiral that makes them not want to try hard because they don't feel like they're worth it. And that's terrible. That only leads to more depression, more rejection, more suicides. That's not a way to solve a problem. Bullying and pressuring people isn't a way to fix things. It only makes them worse. But the fact is, food can be addictive. Obesity is the #1 cause of heart disease. And heart disease is the leading cause of death in America. 1 in every 4 deaths is caused by heart disease. But you don't solve an epidemic of this level by bullying people. You don't solve it by targeting the individual. You solve it by fixing the system, fixing the structure. People are this way because they don't have the time to go out and get a beautiful meal every day. They don't have the money to go out and buy the groceries that they need to make a beautiful meal that is healthy and useful to them every day. They just can't. They are forced, for the most part, to settle with things that are fast, that are cheap, and that are easy to get. So we're caught in this ever-increasingly terrible situation where people are pulling on one side and pulling on the other and making everyone in the middle far, far worse. Shame causes more harm than good, but when does acceptance become enabling? This is the tightrope that we have to walk. This is something that we have to be paying attention to and treating as though it is a serious problem. So the only way to solve this is how we solved health crises in the past. You didn't stop people from smoking by telling them that they're terrible for smoking, though they still did that. You solved it by educating people about the health concerns. You didn't solve the Black Plague by telling people that were getting infected with the Black Plague that they were terrible. You solved it by educating about washing your hands, being more cleanly, eliminating rats, whatever it was that solved the Black Plague. We solved it through education, not through bullying, not through demonizing. And that's the way the leftists, finally coming all the way back full circle to that, that's the way the leftists think about this. They think about this as, yeah, it can be a problem if you are predisposed to be in a situation where you are eating higher calorie foods leading to possible heart disease. But also at the same time, we realize that blaming the individual is not going to solve that problem. You're not a commodity. We don't stamp people out of a machine. Being a size 0 or a size 2 isn't going to make you immediately healthy. Some people can be healthy at very large sizes. That's something that needs to be determined on an individual basis. We need to be treating this as a situation that has to be solved through systemic change, and not just something that we solve by demonizing a bunch of people that had no other choice. At least that's the way I look at it. My name is Aaron, this is my show Reeducation, and if you do get a chance, please check out my Patreon. Every dollar does help fund this show, and thanks for watching.